Kingdom Team All Call time. You've got questions, we've got answers. It is all about you. If you have any questions for us, kingdomreportlive.com is the place. Fill out the form there, or you can go ahead and leave a comment down below and let us know what's on your mind. We'll go ahead and grab that and maybe run with it for a future broadcast. Today's question comes to us from Audrey Furman. Audrey asks, is there a real possibility that Disneyland will be closed a full year and not open by March 2021? March 2021 obviously being that date in which Disneyland officially closed down. Kind of incredible to think that we are soon approaching a full calendar year that Disneyland theme parks have been closed. We'll start with Tyler. Do you think that Disneyland will, in fact, be closed a full year?
Yeah. Yes.
So say it a different way.
Indubitably. I mean, that's like, I think that's kind of, unfortunately, definitely what's going to happen. We've been kind of going through our different, guesses throughout this whole entire year and when things are going to open. And for a long time now, I've been saying, I don't think it's going to happen till next year. And it's looking like that's a major possibility. I would think that the earliest I could see it opening is probably early summer, personally. And that's dependent on a lot of things. That's dependent on, how we start handling this whole virus thing when it comes to hospitals, and not just lockdowns and stuff, but just all sorts of assistance by the federal government and stuff. And then it also comes down to these vaccinations. If these vaccinations really work. And as much as I would love to go back to Disneyland and have a great day there and be at California Adventure in a full capacity, being able to go on rides and stuff like that, I think it's going to be longer than a year.
Wow.
So, yeah.
He poo-pooed all over that one.
Ouch. You agree, Katrina?
Yes.
Yeah. Way to double poo.
I know. I totally poo-pooed on that one too. I think it's like, maybe downtown Disney's going to expand more, possibly, but not Disneyland, the park.
Yeah.
Is not going to be reopened, like the rides and stuff. I feel like those are going to stay still for a good while.
It's incredible when you think about how many times we have, because we obviously get asked this question regularly. I mean, every time we're on live and on every video that we post vlog wise, we get asked this question: when do you think Disneyland's going to reopen? And we have played the projection game here multiple times and been very, I think, responsible with what's going on and responsible with the evidence, and sort of built a case around each time we thought it was about to or getting close to. And we talked about something very early on where we used, I believe it was one of these questions that referenced the Rose Parade, and specifically had said that if the Rose Parade was not going to, this was months and months and months ago, that if the Rose Parade was not going to go on as scheduled, could it be possible that we don't see a Disneyland return until 2021? And at that time, it seemed like kind of a ridiculous notion that, number one, the Rose Parade has to start building and creating 6 to 8 months in advance, so they would have already had to start being in motion for that. But the chatter we had around it was no, there's so many. At the time, we believed that the governor was working with theme parks. At the time, we were being told very different information, and we believed that all of this was about to happen. And we sort of rearranged that deck of cards multiple times based on the information that we have in the moment. I think it will be incredible to look back on this year and every one of these types of questions and look at what we were hearing at the time versus what has happened.
Can we have like a montage video of like our projections and like the real news that was going on at that certain time?
Absolutely.
Huge.
Yeah, that
really
was one of our highest watched videos of all time was the not open until 2021 Disneyland video, and it was all about this possibility of, well, if the Rose Parade isn't going to go off in 2021, what are the likelihood of Disneyland returning theme park wise? And you know, a lot of people were saying you know, you're out of your mind if you think that it's going to be 2021, and there was all this nastiness in there because I think people.
What?
Yeah, I know.
On the internet?
Not online.
What?
But I think people really wanted to, you know, assume the best and think of the best and think of the good things, that there was no way that this could extend out into 2021. And now we're talking about, well, will it be a full calendar year come March and then still not be open? With all the information that we have now, yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
You know, I'll triple poo.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Christian?
Yeah, get that quadruple in there, Christian.
I'll make it a quadruple. Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's gonna be closed for a full year.
Now you have it. 4 poos.
Man, you know, and it's so weird to think that each time we've talked about this, I think we all had a lot of optimism that it was going to be just another month or two, or, you know, we were going to come close to something modified like Disney World, and we were going to see differences there. And we're on the cusp of a new year. It's amazing how things have changed this year. It's amazing, Tyler, you know, you and I talking about Katrina coming back from Italy.
Yeah.
Tyler, you and I sitting here talking about this virus, and is it serious, and like, should we be concerned, and what's really happening, and what's going on?
I remember that interview that we had too with, I'm sorry, I'm blanking on his name right now, but he was like one of the first people that really was in the news that contracted corona.
One of the
like
first
that.
Americans to have COVID-19.
Yeah, and we were talking to him, and he was like, "Yeah, I'd go on a cruise in a month." And I'm like, okay, it's nice to hear, you know. And that's why earlier in the show I said, like, I keep flip flopping on this whole thing because none of us know what to expect, and but I'm just going off of what we've seen now since March, and if I'm going off of that, it's going to be closed for over a year.
Yeah.
So,
judging from the on again off again information we're receiving from our own state, and I don't even know who to trust anymore at the state level based on everything that I've seen behavior wise and attitude wise. I don't know if they're even working with theme parks now. I don't even know if they're considering this anymore. Now it just feels like they've completely excused it away and thought, you know what, now we have data to claim we're even worse off. Therefore, we're not even going to acknowledge theme parks exist, while the whole narrative had been, oh yeah, we've been working with them this whole time.
Yeah.
And then they called them out to say, no one's contacted us at all. So yeah, to think that we've gone all this time and now we're heading into a new year. And I think you're right, Tyler, you know, how vaccines are distributed and what that looks like overall, how many people are impacted by that and take it versus percentage wise, how many people can get vaccinations and how quick, all of that, you know, will play a very big factor on, I think, what this state in particular does. But yeah, I think everybody's right that a full calendar year is probably pretty practical at this point. I don't want that to be true.
Yeah.
I really would like to see something January or February, bounce back, and maybe we get a reprieve and they allow, you know, it to be set up kind of like how Walt Disney World is and have this modified version of a theme park, happening. But I gotta say, based on everything that we're seeing, I agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, in January and February sound like they're far away, but they're really pretty close. I mean, we're
Couple weeks.
We're almost there to January. So the beginning of 2021 is going to be as bad as the first quarter of 2020, unfortunately, but if not worse in some cases. But we're going to keep on pushing forward. That's all you can do, and it's sad to see this, and I feel bad for all the cast members. I feel bad for everybody involved. That's really the thing that I want to go back and have a stupid fun time, but also I just feel bad for everybody else. So, but here's hoping.
Let's hold out for spring 2021.
Yeah.
Let's hope it'll be before summer. And I know that there's so much to consider going into the new year, and so many variables, even politically right now, as to what could happen and what might take place and what could occur in the science community and what could occur in the distribution from even these private companies that have created vaccines. So there's so much that can still happen, and I feel like every week, in terms of just our news cycle, every week feels like a month in terms of stuff that has happened. There's so much going on at any given time, and that's how this whole year has felt. It feels like we've lived a small eternity this year based on just how much we've been through.
Yeah.
So kind of incredible to think that we are not too far out from, you're right, that full year, and we appreciate the question, that's for sure. But it looks like the good news, vaccines are here, and hopefully will be deployed quickly, and we will certainly see how all of that pans out, how fast it can be done. That way we can start moving on with some semblance of normalcy and maybe getting our Disneyland back. And a note as to that gentleman that we talked to, Ron Goldman, from the beginning of the year, one of the first Americans to reportedly have COVID. We talked to him while he was under like a federal lockdown, under lock and key, being monitored by doctors because nobody knew how bad this was going to be. And he talked to us from like his holding cell. It wasn't, dark like that, but he was basically quarantined in a space like in Nebraska somewhere, where they were, I guess they had set up some sort of medical facility after 9/11, and they were using that for him. And when we were talking to him, he seemed awfully upbeat and positive. He's made a full recovery. Bless him for making the full recovery. But yeah, you're right. He was talking about how I would go on a cruise this year, absolutely. And I wonder what his reaction would be like.
I know, because I wouldn't go on a cruise this year, not even for anything. So
yeah, pretty wild. But we thank you so much for your question. If you have a question for us, again, kingdomreportlive.com, or you can leave the question down below. If you appreciate this segment, our little Q&A, make sure to give us a big thumbs up. And if you want to, go ahead and subscribe to the Kingdom Report on YouTube.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.